Chicago Tomahawk. I'm Mike, and I got my line mate Matt with me. And today we're gonna go over the playoff standings so far on where we've gone. Me and Matt had some predictions. Some of our predictions aren't working out. Some are. And the one I want to start off with is New York. We both picked the Rangers to essentially take this series, possibly 6 games. They're down 3-1 right now. I did not see that coming. Matt, where are you with this series, man?
Yeah, I'm the same, man. I thought it would definitely go 7 with the Rangers winning just because of Shesterkin and the way he's been playing. He's been pulled 2 games in a row. Wow. And on my way home today, I had NHL radio on, and I heard the Pittsburgh fans chanting Igor, Igor, Igor at the last couple seconds of the game, and wow. The dude was on the bench. They had Gorgiev in for the third period. He actually played good, Gorgiev. He only let up 1 goal against Malkin. But dude, the Pens are really turning it up right now, and look who's in net, Louis Domingue, the third string AHL starting goalie. I got to give credit to him and the Pens defense. They are really been very, very, very well they're playing. I mean, it's just to play in front of a third string goalie, you got to be on your toes, ready to go. And I didn't think their defense was that good, but they're showing up, man.
Here's another thing, Matt. You get a guy, third string, right? Third string goalie coming up, and he has the opportunity of a lifetime. And what does he do? He goes out there and he wins his first game. What does that do for your confidence, man?
Even the guys in front of him are going to get a boost in confidence. Because,
right.
I mean, this guy is so humble, too. After the game, he's like, dude, I dream about this. You know, I'm in my street with my friends when I was younger. I'm in the playoffs right now, and he's never really got that chance. He's been a very good goalie. I mean, I think he was with Tampa Bay when Vasilevsky was hurt. He started 10 games in a row and he won them all.
Wow.
And he's just never really got that fair shot, but he's taking it, man, and he's going with it. They're leaning on him now, and he's been great. He's up 3 wins. You
know, there's certain guys, man, where you're like, hey, man, this is your opportunity, and some guys, you know, they'll give you that 1,000-yard stare. And there's other guys that'll give you that smirk, and they're just ready to go. You know,
he's a professional, man. Yeah, he's proven it.
100%, man. You know, they're not just going. They're going up against a guy he's been waiting for this his whole life. So Shesterkin is shaken. I think that his confidence is shattered right now because, you know, I think the Rangers have had a really, really good season, probably a fairy tale season, just considering because, you know, they're supposed to be a rebuilding team. They turned it around really quick. Shesterkin's been excellent for them. They get into the playoffs, and it's a nightmare. Actually, kind of like Toronto has been in the playoffs, you know, and you know, it's unfortunate for them. You know, obviously Newark was expecting these guys to win the Stanley Cup for the next, decade. But
the center of the sports world, yep.
But, you know, I think that New York still has some work to do with this team. Obviously very inexperienced and just not ready for what's come down. Now, the series is not over yet. Can they come back and win being down 3-1? Absolutely. But the Pens absolutely have to fall apart in all facets for that to happen. And from the game that they've been playing, winning tonight 7-2, I don't think that's going to happen. What do you think?
Well, I was just going to ask you a question. You're Gerard Gallant. Who's in between the pipes?
Gorgiev.
You're going with Gorgiev? Yeah, I think I am too. You got to. I mean, it's an elimination game.
Obviously, nothing personal. You know.
Yeah. Hey, we need you. We need to change this. We need something here. We need a spark, and I think he's going to be the guy. I mean, we had to do it with Crawford and Darling, and look what happened. We won the cup.
Right.
But I think Gorgiev's been good.
I think so too.
On relief, he's been good
all year.
And like you said, I think Shesterkin is shaken, and he's not doing his team any good by getting. You know, he's not playing like the Vezina like season he had.
Right.
Not even close. And the Pens are on right now.
Right.
So you got to do everything you can to shake it up. And hey, Gallant will look like a genius if, you know, Gorgiev can pull it off, but we'll see.
Matt, if New York comes back and they win 2 games, this is a 3-3 series, you know?
Yeah, it's very hard to win I mean, it's very hard to win 2 games in a row in the playoffs. I
Sure.
mean, look at the Lightning. They haven't put a good streak together yet. I mean, it's hard. It's tough hockey. So, I mean, like I said, if I'm Gerard Gallant, I think I'm gonna give Gorgiev a little talk tonight. Like, hey, you're in for Game 5, kid, and we need you. We need you. It's an elimination game. Prove it. Prove it to us that you're a better goalie.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Moving on to Tampa Bay and Toronto, I was expecting this to be 3-1 Tampa by now, and it's not. It's 2-2.
Yeah.
I'm glad that Toronto is. They're putting up a fight. They're trading blows over there, going one game.
Yeah, they didn't show up last night though.
No, and that kind of, to Toronto's credit, I think that's great, going up against Tampa in the first round and putting up what they're doing now. If they would be playing, if this team was playing the Canadians last year, they'd probably be up 3-0 right now, and. They're out there and they're competing with Tampa, and I think that it's awesome. Tampa hasn't been as dominant as they have in the past, for obvious reasons, but I think that they're still an incredibly strong team. They're playing a very talented Toronto team that's hungry, that is not looking to fail, can't fail, and they got their backs against the wall. Going forward, what would you say is an advantage for Tampa?
I will tell you 2 players the advantage: Corey Perry and Patty Maroon. These guys are 4th line bangers. These guys are scoring goals, and when you have your 4th line scoring goals, that's huge. I mean, we had a 4th line 2010 that was awesome. I think it was John Madden, was Ben Eager, and Troy Brouwer.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys were scoring goals, and that's huge. We were winning 2-0.
Madden was also really good at the faceoff dot there too.
Special teams. I mean,
and closing down other top lines. He was really good.
But these 2 guys, Patty Maroon had a highlight reel goal last night. He skated right through the Toronto defense. And what was that? And I don't know if you saw this clip, but I retweeted it. Actually, I made my own comment on it. Willie Nylander, did you see him?
Didn't he miss a check?
No. So it was a 50-50 puck on the boards. He slowed down because he didn't want to get hit.
Really?
And you know what I saw? I saw myself at the Wolves game when they were playing the Ice Hogs. I'm like, holy shit, that's his brother.
Yeah.
And I said, oh my goodness. You do that in the playoffs, dude?
Yeah.
That's a 50-50 puck. That's why you're losing 5-0.
Yeah.
No one's getting dirty. And he didn't want to take a hit. Tampa Bay breaks the puck out, and that's it. No scoring chance. But they need a better effort from him. Everybody needs to be. You can't be taking penalties on Tampa either, because then you got Austin Matthews on the bench longer. He needs to be out on the ice. I mean, you got it's the same cliche. Stay out of the box. You need your top line guys to play, and I think that's the problem with Toronto. There's too many penalty killing. I know Mitch Marner's a penalty killer, but you need Austin Matthews out there. He's a goal scorer. Tavares hasn't done shit in 10 games. I know he's like getting killed over in Torontoville right now, not scoring enough goals and stuff. But you know what? Tavares is still an effective player.
He is.
He's a really good player. He's not, he's not getting the points, but they'll come.
He's not the number 1 guy.
No, he's not. And they need a better effort, a full team effort. And I'm so sick and tired of hearing about David Camp. Oh my God.
Man, yeah.
He scores 6 goals. You guys are ready to throw the C on this guy and retire his number. Relax. He's not that good. Your team is just too top heavy, like with salary, that you have no choice but to have this guy. And you're lucky he's scoring, because he didn't score for us. We needed him to win a faceoff and get the fuck off the ice because you're terrible at everything else.
Somebody was saying that he's actually sniping this year, and I told them that that's not true. Yeah, okay. He was on. He had a very, very good year.
10 goals.
You know what? I'd have to look up his statistics.
10.
What was it?
I'm almost certain it's 10 goals.
Okay.
That's good, I guess, for a 4th liner, but really? You have a 62 goal scorer on your team and you're talking about David Camp?
Maybe they're trying to get some of the limelight off of Austin.
Oh, geez. I think he can handle it. But
I'll tell you what, man. I think that something that Tampa has going for them is the pressure of Toronto, man. Is that the longer this series gets drawn out, the more pressure the fan base and the media is going to put on that Toronto team. And you know what? Tampa pretty much just has to sit back, man. Because this isn't the Stanley Cup final. They've been there. They've done that. Won it twice. They won the chip twice, right?
Yep.
All that they have to do is just go out there and play hockey. And when they get their opportunities, they can strike. Toronto doesn't have that. They have to go out there and they have to impose their will and they have to win games. And Austin Matthews needs to be scoring, and so does Mitch Marner. And if these guys aren't scoring, Tavares is getting his teeth kicked in by the media. It's doom and gloom over there. So I think that they have a really big advantage there.
Yep, and then they got Vasilevsky in net, and he'll lose a game, and the next game he'll win, and his streak is now at 15-0 when losing a game. The next start.
Wow,
it's insane, dude. So if he can get another win, if they can, I think Tampa could win the next game, and I could see him closing it out. I think they really rattled the Leafs last night.
All right. Boston and Carolina, these two teams tied 2-2. Matt, we thought that this was going to be a somewhat of a bloodbath, potential for a bloodbath. It isn't. Boston has been fighting, coming back. Do you think that Boston has what it takes to beat the Canes?
Man, a week ago I would have said no, but Freddie Anderson is still out. And Antti Ranta had a good game, then he got hurt, and I believe he lost his last game. They put that Russian rookie, I don't want to butcher his name, but I'm surprised Rod Brindamore didn't put him back in. Yeah, I'm surprised he kind of threw Ranta back in. I know Ranta's a better goalie, but this kid was good. He was getting wins. But yeah, man, I think Brad Marchand, what's his name? David Pasta, and Patrice Bergeron really stepped up. I think Marchand had 6 points last game.
Wow.
And yeah, he set a record, I believe. But once that, I know they're a one-line team, but if they're going like that, they're gonna win. So I think we're gonna go 7, and I'm still kind of leaning with the Canes. I think the Canes are gonna come back strong next game.
I am too. Now I'll tell you what. I want these teams that barely made the playoffs to make their exit and get the fuck out, man. Because I want these juggernauts to go head to head with each other. I'm sorry, but the Bruins are not going to win the Stanley Cup this year. No. Everyone was talking about the Canes. Everyone was talking about Florida. We'll get to that in a minute. Everyone's talking about Toronto, and they're playing Tampa in the first round. And there hasn't been much talk about the Blues and the Wild because, people really aren't thinking about that. Calgary and Dallas, they're flying underneath the radar, So, and obviously Nashville is getting their teeth kicked in by Colorado, which was as expected. And I thought that maybe they'd win one game. They're down 3-0 right now. We'll get into that later. But I want some of these teams like Nashville and Boston, I want them out of the playoffs so the rest of these teams can just go at it, man. Are there any other teams that are in the playoffs right now that you're like, you know what, you shouldn't be here. You barely, squeaked in.
Dallas.
Dallas. Okay.
Yeah. Even Washington, man. Look at them.
Yeah.
They're up 2-1.
Yeah. Let's move on to the Washington Dallas then. I'm sorry, the Washington series. This team, I did not peg them to be a team that was built for the playoffs and built for sustained success in the playoffs. I think that they'd, obviously make it in, but I think that they would bow out in the first round. Where do you have the Caps right now surprising Florida? Because a lot of people were talking about Florida being, this juggernaut Florida team, but they're in the shadow of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Okay.
Yeah, and the President's Trophy jinx. Like, we got the President's Trophy. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything.
Sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks.
You don't want it. Exactly.
Huberdeau and Barkov are having career years. And to be honest with you, man, it just seemed like this team was just destined to hit to hit the bricks, man, because Andrew Burnett is up for the Jack Adams Award. I mean, it was essentially Q's system and his team,
Yeah.
and he
Goodness.
kind of just stepped in and took over in a way.
Yeah, I'll sit in the driver's seat for that one. Yeah,
Sure. I mean, how hard can it be, man? Look at the squad that they have.
You just open the door. That's it.
Yeah, pretty much. So Florida is in. I think they're hurting, man. I think that they have a lot of pressure too, but it's not from the fan base, not like it is in Toronto with the fan base and the media. I think it's on themselves because they're always playing second string to Tampa, and they don't want to do that anymore. They were pretty much running over everybody this season, including the Canes, and they played well against Tampa. And now they're having a hard time with the Caps. Where do you think Florida goes from here?
Well, I'll give you a live update. Florida just won an OT. The series is tied 2-2, but it shouldn't have even. It should have been a sweep. It should be a sweep. And to be honest, man, I'm kind of concerned with Bobrovsky. He doesn't really show up in the playoffs, man.
Yeah,
I like what I saw from Spencer Knight last year.
Yes.
I'm surprised he's not getting a look.
right.
I mean, there's a lot of pressure on this team within the organization. Not so, like you said, not so much the media and the fan base down there, but if the Panthers were in Toronto, oh my God, they'd have the torches out. So I'm still gonna go with the Panthers, but I can't believe the Caps they're putting up a fight, man.
Man, I can't believe this. To be honest with you, Bob, like you mentioned, has a hard time in the playoffs. And you know what? They're paying him because they're giving him $10 million. And I don't think that that's right. You got to give the goalie that gives you the best chance to win. And Bobrovsky is not that.
And you know what? When Dale signed him a couple years ago, they were lacking that goalie. They were lacking that all elite goalie that can get him over. And I credit Dale. He went after him. And after that's the year that they beat Tampa, I believe the Blue Jackets, that sweep.
Right.
And Bob was great. And Dale's like, hey, I'm getting this guy. And he got him, but he's not that guy anymore for him.
Right.
He's never been to that level. And if they can get him to that level, I think they can win the cup. But as of now, they're if they get to the next round, they should be really concerned because that Capitals team is not that good anymore.
Yeah, I agree. And to be honest with you, we're looking at a team that they're having success now, but how long until they have to start handing out big contracts? How long is the window?
I mean, they got, I'd say 2-3 years to get this going, figure it out.
To get it done.
They could lose Spencer Knight because this kid is not going to rot and be a backup his whole
He's ready
career.
to play.
Yeah, he's a guy that I wish the Hawks had draft pick capital because I would definitely throw first rounders for him. But we don't have it.
All right. Well, let's move on. Let's go to the Western Conference for a second. I want to talk about Calgary. Now, we're talking about a team, man, that's been steamrolling people. And they're having a hard time with Dallas, who just squeaked in. Now, like I mentioned, I wanted the squeakers out quick because Dallas, man, they're not built for the playoffs, man. They're not built for sustained success. Calgary is a tough team, but they're going cold and they're going soft at the wrong time. Where do you think that these 100-point players are, Matt?
Well, it's a lot tighter in the playoffs. I credit Dallas for fighting, but like you said, they should not be here. They're very lucky that the Hawks sucked. The Coyotes sucked. The Jets the Jets I picked to be in the playoffs this year. They didn't show up, and Dallas
Vegas took a nosedive.
And Dallas, yeah, they got kind of lucky. Like nobody really wanted those 2 wild card spots. Same with Nashville. Like we'll get to them. They have no business being here. But Calgary, yeah, I'm really not sure about that. I don't know what to say. They were my pick, man, for the West. I'd love the 340-point guy or 100-point guys. Sorry, 40 goal guys. Couple 100-point guys. Kachuk, his first year getting 100 points. I think he had a meltdown last game. He was kind of playing like he was playing against Drew Doughty, that agitating style. And maybe you don't want him to do that. Maybe you want him to focus kind of like Brad Marchand in Boston. Once you focus on being the man, you don't worry about those antics. You go out and score, and that's what they need to do, I think.
Do you think that he's at that point yet, or do you think that he's not at that maturity level yet?
I think he is, but when stuff's going bad, maybe he's trying to spark his team or something. I don't know, but they got to figure it out quick, because if this team gets bounced by Dallas, oh man, they were just the big posers going into the playoffs. Or honestly, the Pacific Division just sucks.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the Wild and the Blues. I believe that's tied at 2-2. This is another series that has been going back and forth, and I would probably say
I expected it.
Yeah, I did too. This is an interesting series because you have a tough Blues team and you've got a very talented Wild team, and you wonder who's going to win out on this. Is the Wild's talent going to win out, or is the Blues, defensive minded, kind of wear you down type of game going to wear down the Wild? Where do you see this series at, Matt?
Well, I think I picked the Blues in 7, and Ville Husso did lose his net. Jordan Binnington started last game, and he was good. Got the win. They're tied 2-2. Kaprizov for Minnesota has been very good. He's got 8 points this series. Ryan O'Reilly has 9. David Perron, the guy who doesn't get any love from anyone in the NHL, he's got 6 goals. Kaprizov has 6 goals. Yeah, man, I hear a lot of Hawks fans on Twitter. They want Ville Husso next year. Ville Husso, he's such a good goalie. He's a free agent. I'm like, well, he's on a good team, guys. I mean,
yeah.
You're gonna sign this guy, and he doesn't have a good team in front of him yet. It's gonna be like a waste. You know what I mean? He's not gonna come here to rebuild. So I hope we can stop talking about that. But yeah, this is going 7, man. I still think the Blues experience is gonna overcome and probably win in 7.
Interesting. I'm still gonna hope for that first round draft pick, man. I'm pulling for the Wild 100%. I never thought I'd ever say that in my life, but I wouldn't say I'm pulling for them. I'm saying I would be really happy if they made it to the Western Conference Finals.
You know what, man? I know Fleury's been good, but I'd like to see Cam Talbot get a start for Minnesota, because he got him there. And I think you just owe him that respect. See what he can do in the playoffs. I know it's tied right now and it's close to an elimination game, but I mean, Fleury, he hasn't really been like spectacular or anything. He's just been average, and St. Louis they're having goaltending issues now. But I mean, Binnington has experience. He's won a cup, and I think he was really focused yesterday and prepared for the game and got him the W. So it's a best of 3 now.
Wow. All right, who do you want to move on to next?
Let's go to Nashville, because I can't wait till they get eliminated tonight.
Nashville, man, they're down 3-0 to the Avs. This is going as expected, and to be honest with you, you kind of have to worry a little bit, because this is kind of how it was last year for the Avs. They went into the first round, they wrecked shop, got to the second round, had that great game, that great first game against Vegas. And then after that, it was kind of downhill for the Avs. Matt, do you think that the Avs are moving on from maybe, say, being posers to to being a juggernaut in the playoffs?
Definitely, they're playing like a powerhouse. That first game, man, they sent a message. They're like, no, we're not messing around this year. 5-0 in the first period. Even tonight, I believe they're playing. Darcy Kemper got hurt. I don't know if you've seen that freak injury. Stick went right through his helmet, got him right in the eye. Wow. Pretty scary, actually. They have that Francouz guy, who's a good backup. He ended up getting the win last game and relief. And Nashville's got that Ingram, young 25-year-old goalie, and David Riddick he got lit up game 1. But we go back to Saros. I think it would be a little different if maybe they'd get 1 win with them. But yeah, like you said, Colorado, they're serious. They're all focused. They got Kadri back in, and it looks like they're just having a good time out there, man. They're playing hockey. They're dominating, and it's almost like a practice run for them for the next round. Right. But if they can get the W tonight, they're going to get more rest, because I think a lot of these series are going to go 7. So they're going to just sit back. Sometimes that's bad. You're sitting too long, but when you're banged up, the playoffs are tough. It's good to have that rest.
Yeah, 100%. You know, LA and the Kings. I mean, sorry, LA and the Kings. The Kings and the Oilers. They're tied 2-2. Evander Kane's got 5 goals in this series, man. This guy's showing up, which
Yeah.
he's been known to, man. You know, this guy can produce. Yeah,
He's a good player.
He's got some personal issues, but the dude, he's a good hockey player, man.
No doubt about it. He can play. He's just off ice. He's just a complete dickhead, but he's a very good hockey player. He really is.
Philippe Deneau with 2 goals and 3 assists, 5 points. And, you know, pretty surprised, man, that, you know, that this guy is, I believe he's got 5 points. This guy is, you know, he's starting to let his offensive side shine a bit. And he's coming up for this LA team. Interesting statistic here. Series is tied 2-2. Face-off percentage between these two teams is 50.2 to 49.8, so it's pretty much right down the middle, man.
Good centers.
Yeah, and these guys are pretty much splitting possession, which is really huge, and I think it's a big deal for this for this team.
How about Quickie? Getting back into it, man. I think he got a shutout last game. Mm-hmm. That's pretty good, man. I got a lot of respect for him too. You know, and like a Dustin Brown type of guy. He's been through all the battles with the Blackhawks over those years. He had some good Stanley Cup runs and another good goalie. Very good American goalie.
Great American goalie, yes.
Another American player. Yep.
And, you know, I got to say this, man. You know, I'm still seeing the Oilers lose this series. This series might go 7 games, though.
Yeah, I think they're going back and forth. Mike Smith has been better. And, you know, we know he's older. We always kind of give him a hard time for being that old guy out there. But,
he's got a shutout.
I mean, if you look at the point leaders, Evander Kane is leading the team in points. Where's McDavid and where's Draisaitl?
That's not, and you know what? This is exactly what they needed. That's exactly what this team needed.
That's why they brought him in.
And you know what? McDavid and Draisaitl, they always do this. It comes to the playoffs. These dudes are nowhere to be found. They lost to the Blackhawks a few years ago in that play-in round.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? They didn't do shit. And the Hawks shut them down.
Kubalik shut him down. Didn't he score like 6 goals in one game or something?
I think it was him and Taser had a hat trick each in like the first game or something like that.
Jeez.
But hey, if McDavid is not scoring and Draisaitl is not scoring, this team is pretty much done. Evander Kane he's keeping the team alive, but how long is that going to be sustainable? He's like their single-handed second-hand scoring there, you know?
Yeah, I don't even think. Oh, he is okay. He has 6 points, but I don't see his name a lot, and I don't see Draisaitl's name a lot either.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's pretty interesting. You got, I think Crosby is leading the league in points. I think he's got 9 points, and then Brad Marchand has 9 points. He had 6 in one game. And it just shows you Sidney Crosby's still one of the best, man.
Oh, yeah. I think he had 197 points. He's the 6th all-time in playoff points now.
He's an absolute stud, man.
For reference, Wayne Gretzky sits at 382.
Well, what's the line? If you took Gretzky's goals away, he'd still be leading the league.
He would be, yes.
Yeah,
and that's not even playoff production. 392 points in the playoffs. That's Gretzky's playoff production.
It's a freak.
Yeah. So Crosby would need probably another 14 years to, based on his current production, to make it. And Crosby's a scorer, man. So that kind of goes to show you.
Hey, did you see his pass 2 games ago?
Wasn't it between the legs?
Between the legs, open netter right to Jeff Carter. Jeff Carter buries it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. He's
Carter will bury those all day.
36 years old, dude. Like,
yeah.
That's a young man type of thing to do. He did. He's like, hey, I can skate with these boys.
Yeah. He's like, no problem. I'm Sid the Kid. He is, man. He's lived up to who he was supposed to be, really.
I don't think I liked him when he first started, just because like they always would zoom in on him and he's like saying something to the refs and stuff. But he's really matured, man, and he's just like a really down to earth dude. He's a really good player, man. I got tons of respect for him.
He really shored up his defensive side of the game early in his career because he was a very strong offensive player, and he was a little weak on the defensive side. And then about 3 seasons in, man, he shored that up really good. And I think that he's a really good unheralded two-way player. I think that he puts up so many points that part of his game isn't looked at a lot, but he's very solid on the defensive side of the
Very,
park.
very smart too.
Yeah,
Very
he's a smart player.
The quiet leader. He seems like, he just leads by example and they follow.
Yeah, he shows up every day. So, Matt, your favorite subject, the Norris Trophy. We're going to talk about the finalists. As always, Victor Hedman is leading the list here with Roman Josi, another great defenseman, and Cale Makar. Now, I will tell you, just like you've mentioned before, both of these, all of these players excel at the offensive side of the game. But I would say that there's only two players on this list that excel at the defensive aspect of the game as well. That's Roman Josi and Victor Hedman. Who do you predict is going to win the Norris this year?
Oh, well, they go by points. So it's going to be probably Roman Josi. I believe he had 96 points, which is unbelievable for a defenseman. Good for him. And he's on a team that doesn't score a lot of goals.
Right.
And he's only a plus 13. I mean, that is good.
Wow.
He's a plus player. Cale Makar was a plus 48. 28 goals, 58 assists.
He's almost a 30-goal scorer.
A 30-goal scorer as a defenseman.
Yeah.
And you got good old Vic Hedman, the guy who gets the big championships, the only one that matters. He let's see, he had 20 goals and 65 assists for 85 points. I believe that was a career year for him too.
Wow.
That just shows you how good the new defensive guys are.
Yeah.
Like the new age puck movers but you know what? If I'm picking today, I'm going with Victor Hedman, man. I am. And I know he's not going to win, but he's just a better all-around defenseman. And let's see who lasts after this first playoff round. It's going to be Cale Makar. It's probably going to be Victor Hedman, and I bet you Victor Hedman will be the last man standing. I know it doesn't matter in the playoffs, but if Hedman gets a cup again, I don't think he's going to give two shits about this Norris Trophy.
Even though I think that he deservedly should have won it last year.
I think what they need to do is go ahead, keep your Norris Trophy.
How about create a Paul Coffey Trophy?
No, create a Nick Lindstrom Trophy, because he could play defense and he could put up good points, like a good, solid defenseman. Something like that. Keep your Norris for the highest scoring defenseman, or call it whatever you want to call it. But I think if you, end of the season, you pick the best defenseman, Victor Hedman would be the best guy.
Yeah.
And then years ago, maybe a Brent Seabrook and a Nicholas Jarmelson would be winning these trophies, because they're playing the position the way it's supposed to be played.
Right. I think that, like you, I think they should keep the Norris Trophy for the defensive side of the, defensive defenseman, and they should create like I mentioned, like a Paul Coffey Trophy for guys who excel at the offensive aspects of the game.
Do something like the Art Ross, the guy who finishes with most points.
Right.
Do something like that for the defenseman, because look, I mean, Roman Josi was a plus 13, so yes, that's good, but really, look at Cale Makar.
He's a plus 13, but he had 96 points.
That's amazing, yeah. And if he finished with 96 points, he should win like the Art Ross defensive edition of that.
He should be like a plus 60.
Yeah, well, I think Johnny Hockey was a plus 60.
Really?
Johnny Hockey, yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing, dude. But, yeah, we've been talking about this. I think that they should do that. Just whoever finishes most points doesn't necessarily mean you're the Norris Trophy. You're the best defenseman. You're just the highest scoring defenseman. And I think that's what Roman Josi is. Just the highest scoring defenseman. Does it deserve an award? Sure. Yeah, it's a big accomplishment, but doesn't mean you're a better defenseman than Victor Hedman or even Cale Makar.
Roman Josi's good on defensively, though, as well.
No, he is. He's good, but I mean,
I don't think Cale
speaks a lot.
Let's say Cale Makar. I think Cale Makar isn't as good defensively as Roman Josi and Victor Hedman.
I don't think Cale needs to worry about playing defense because his team always has the puck.
Right.
So that's why he's scoring 30 goals like old school Doug Wilson on the Blackhawks.
Right.
Man. But I think Victor Hedman, like I said, he could turn up this, they call it in Tampa, he turns on beast mode and he could score goals, step up big time, or he'll shut you down. I think out of all three of them guys, if I'm an opposing player against Hedman, I don't want to play against this guy. He's going to shut me down, and if I'm slacking, he's going to score on me. I think he's just more of a complete defenseman. Cale Makar can skate circles around you all day, score highlight reel goals. Yeah, that's cool, but wait till next round when he's playing a real real team. You know what I'm saying? Say he runs into St. Louis, I don't think he's going to be pulling these moves off like he's been doing.
Yeah.
And Roman Josi he's going to get swept, and he's just on a bad team. He had a great season, put up great numbers. Lots of respect, but I think Victor Hedman will be the last man standing.
I agree. I think Cale Makar is probably the newest.
Very exciting player to watch. He is
the newest Erik Karlsson. Because
I don't think he's that bad.
No, I mean, if Erik Karlsson played on a contending team like Colorado, he'd probably be putting up numbers like Cale Makar.
This kid's just gifted, man.
His
skating, he could the term break ankles. He'll do it.
Yeah,
we've seen it against the Kirby Dach. He made Kirby Dach look terrible. He just did it a couple nights ago too. Skated right through Nashville, almost like the same type of goal. He did that cut to the slot and then gave you a quick backhand, and that was it. He's a highlight reel machine.
Yeah,
you don't see too many defensive guys doing that. That's what's exciting about him.
For a second, I thought that was Sandis Ozolinsh, but I was
number
mistaken.
28, right?
No, I thought he was number 8, right?
Oh,
or is that Curtis Leschyshyn?
You're right. Oh, jeez. Or number 52, Adam Foote.
Right. All right, everybody.
Do you think the Rangers fans are upset that their boy Adam Fox wasn't in there?
Oh, I think that they had him penciled in for the next 5 Norris trophies.
Dude, I told you this a couple months back. I'm like, I was watching the Rangers play. I think Detroit pulled their goalie, and I see Adam Fox skating to the puck real fast just to touch it to get a point and stuff like that.
Really?
Type of guy. Yeah, I'm like, come on, dude, it's freaking 4-2 right now. And I think he got hurt, but
he got hurt on that play.
Yeah, no, I think he got hurt and his numbers declined. These guys just took off.
I thought you were saying he got hurt on that play.
No.
Chasing points.
Like you said, though, like the Rangers had him penciled in as the Norris, Shesterkin in as the Vezina, Gerard Gallant as the Jack Adams, Panarin the Art Ross. And come on, guys. There's 31 other teams out there.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that he's he's obviously very, very good. He's a good good skater.
Very good. Very good.
Good defenseman. I think that he could be he's definitely a difference maker. But I don't think that, even though that he won the Norris last year, I don't think that he's on the level of Cale Makar, Roman Josi, or Hedman.
Yeah, Hedman got chipped last year.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, that's all we got for you tonight. We're talking defensemen. You let us know. Let us know who you got in the series, and let us know what you think about the defenseman debate. Are there any other defensemen that have been snubbed and should be in there and you think should be in there? I'm curious to know. But that's all that we got for you tonight. We'll catch you on the next one. This is the Tomahawk, and we're out of here.